Lloyd, how's everything, my friend?
Doing great, too. We had a great first week, and it seems like it's going to be an exciting season. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of favorites, so pretty wide open.
Yeah, which is interesting, too, because I know a lot of people like a lot of the home teams this week, and I don't get too far ahead of myself on trends as far as, the point spreads and travel and coming off this or a layoff here and there, but I always look at a couple things that stand out. 2 or 3 weeks into the season, you start to see teams that are going to be the contenders that are going to be around. Then you kind of see other teams that are kind of packing it in already. As much as I hate to say that, it's a bona fide fact. Sometimes they just don't have the talent. And I want to get into a couple teams, and I want to spotlight a couple games. Let's obviously get through the Eagles and the Dallas game. In my estimation, I don't think there's any way possible that the Eagles lose this game, only because of the Dallas Cowboys coming in pretty high note, emotional win against the Giants on Sunday night. But the fact that they're banged up, and the Eagles certainly have to take advantage of that. So how do you see that playing out on Sunday?
Yeah, too. And first you do have to start with, in terms of, don't jump off a bridge just yet, the Eagles fans, because last year, out of the 12 playoff teams, they were 7-5 in week 1. So, a lot of those guys had lost, and including the Colts, who were 0-2. So there are opportunities to keep going and still make the playoffs. And when you look at this game, I think first and foremost, you do have to look at the Eagles secondary. They had a tough time against Atlanta, and they are probably very glad that Des Bryant is not playing in this game. They're going to have to get pressure in terms of defense on Tony Romo, get past that great line, and then they have to establish a running game. Let's face it, DeMarco Murray wants to show the Cowboys that they made a mistake, and they have to establish a run. So I think this is going to be a close game, and the hero this time may be the GOAT from last week. I think Cody Parkey makes one, and he probably win like 27-24.
I certainly think they're going to have to get Murray involved in the offense early on, especially the lack of carries the other night against Atlanta, who coincidentally, they'll stay in the NFC East. They travel to New Jersey, take on the Giants in their home opener. And you look at the Giants, they have all types of issues. I still look at the Giants' offense, and I know they're not going to have Cruz back this week as well. But we saw Beckham kind of come into his own, aside from that great catch last year against Dallas. But he broke in and came into his own against the Falcons last year when they first met. This is a team that has to throw the football vertically down the field. I mean, they just certainly have to do it. And the Falcons secondary, they're going to give you a little. So I certainly see this game being a high-scoring affair. I think it's a must-win, too, for the New York Giants.
Definitely. And it's a game where I think everybody needs to understand the Giants are still a very competitive team. They showed it last week in Dallas, and they do have a pretty good quarterback in Eli Manning. So they're going to go out there and try to establish Jennings, try to get a little running game going, because let's face it, the Eagles kind of banded that and took the Falcons off the hook. They have the smallest defense with the Falcons, and you're right, they do have some problems at the back end covering people. Jordan Matthews had a pretty good game against them, so I expect Odell Beckham Jr. to have that type of game as well. It's going to be a tough shootout, as you're saying. Matt Ryan can make all the adjustments at the line, and I think in the end, though, Eli Manning's going to find a way to win a close game.
Yeah, and he had that opportunity the other night. It didn't come true. When you look at a couple different quarterback scenarios with two respective teams, Cleveland Browns, Josh McCown doesn't pass the concussion protocol. Johnny Manziel is going to get the start. They host Tennessee. I mean, Cleveland is just in shambles, and conversely, you saw what Mariota did in his Week 1 pro debut with the 4 touchdown passes in the first half alone. Hasn't been done since, I think, 60 or 61 by Tarkenton. But how about the mess there in Cleveland? Are they going to be able to turn it around and play competitive football this year?
Well, I think they're going to be able to come out and play a physical brand of football. Tenton's worked really hard to get that defense going. They do have some guys like Joe Hayden that can make some plays on that defense. And they're going to have to get after Marcus Mariota. I watched a lot of that game against Tampa Bay, and they just controlled the whole action and just got the big lead and just kept pouring it on. So I don't think it's going to be that easy for Mariota this time. It's on a road in front of a raucous crowd. I think in the end, though, Tennessee probably will win this game because, let's face it, Johnny Manziel has not proven anything in the NFL. He still has not thrown a touchdown pass in a regular season game. So this is his opportunity, but I think the Mariota train just keeps rolling.
Yeah, it looks like a nice little matchup for him, and Tennessee's got some winnable games early on in their schedule. Again, a couple minutes with Lloyd Vance, contributor to NFL Network, on a Friday. It's a football Friday, 32 past the 1 o'clock hour. We'll take you up to 2 o'clock. Seattle and Green Bay, you look at Green Bay, they lose Nelson, but I always believe unless the quarterback goes down, they're still going to be there when it's all said and done, and they probably are still salty after last year's debacle. And you look at Seattle, they're coming off a pretty bad loss, and I went on record. I thought the Rams were going to pull up the upset and win that game. It's how they lost with Pete Carroll and his questionable coaching, and you have Marshawn Lynch's mom coming out and questioning the offensive coordinator. So Seattle, they still don't have their secondary at full strength as well. Again, I look at this game where Seattle travels, they're on the road. This is a game they have to win.
Yeah, and it's a tough spot. Let's face it, the Green Bay Packers are still one of the best teams in the NFL, and they showed it last week. They got James Jones going, a guy they just had in camp not that long. So, Aaron Rodgers, a guy who thrives off if he gets good protection, he's going to be able to get the ball down the field. Now, Brian Bulaga, one of his linemen, is not going to play in this game. But they're so tough at Lambeau Field, particularly McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. And I think, Russell Wilson's in desperation mode. They're going to try to get out of their comfort zone, not running the football as much with Marshawn Lynch and try to take some throws down the field. Let's face it, Russell Wilson's not that good when he's throwing over 25, 30 times. So I think in the end, it may be a shootout game, but you're going to see the Packers win that one.
Last one for you. Got about a minute to play with. When you look at the Buffalo Bills coming off a big win, smacking around the Colts, the Patriots are still the Patriots. Rex Ryan, a little braggadocious, feeling pretty good about his Buffalo Bills teams. They're taking shots all over the place against the Patriots. I mean, two things are going to happen here. Either the Patriots are going to blow them out, or Buffalo is going to win a very tight, highly contested contest on Sunday, because I don't see Buffalo blowing out the Patriots. How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, Q. And it starts with Tom Brady. He got his 161st win as a starting quarterback for the Patriots. So he's looking for some revenge. They lost last year to the Bills. The Bills are a tough, young, hungry team, and it's going to be all on Tyrod Taylor's shoulders. He's got to step up at the quarterback position for him. He's got to make some plays. Gronkowski is going to be the key for me in this game, and I think in the end the Patriots probably will win a very close game, but you're going to see the Bills hang in there, and they're going to be in their rearview mirror all season.
I agree with that one as well. It should be a good one. A lot of good action on Sunday, early on in the season, week 2. All right, my friend, as always, I appreciate a couple moments. We'll talk next week. Enjoy the games.
All right, thanks for having me on.